Hi, welcome to the Vote Voice podcast, the show that aims to inspire and encourage everyone to engage in the democratic process. We are a grassroots nonprofit dedicated to voter engagement, and today we want to remind you of the importance of voting in your upcoming local elections. We know that sometimes local elections don't get as much attention as national ones, but they are just as important. Local officials make decisions that directly affect your day-to-day lives, from education and transportation to housing and public safety. So we encourage you to do your research, learn about the candidates and issues, and make your voice heard. And speaking of making your voice heard, we would like to remind you to subscribe to the Vote Voice podcast, where we share information about voting rights, civic engagement, and the importance of staying informed. Now, planning to vote is just as important as actually voting. That's why we want to remind you to download our free vote plan checklist at www.votevoice.com. It's a simple tool that helps you organize your voting process and ensure that you don't miss any important deadlines. But we can't do this alone. We need your help to spread the word and encourage others to vote as well. So we're asking you to remind 3 friends or family members to vote in their local elections. They may not even know that there's an election happening in their area, and your reminder could make all the difference. Finally, we want to talk about the Freedom to Vote Act, which is being reintroduced. This important piece of legislation seeks to protect and expand voting rights across the country, making our democracy safer and more accessible for everyone. The Freedom to Vote Act would establish nationwide voting standards, provide resources to states to modernize their voting system, and strengthen protections against voter suppression. We believe that every American has the right to vote and that our democracy works best when everyone participates. That's why we're asking you to tell Congress that everyday Americans care about the safety and accessibility of our democracy. Contact your representative and let them know that you support the Freedom to Vote Act and the right of all Americans to have a say in our government. Now, let's move on to the next thing. Ladies and gentlemen, this is your host, Donna Miller, and I want to talk about the special services provided to assist the military and overseas citizens to participate in elections. If you are a military or overseas citizen, voter who is eligible to vote, and this is for Michigan, but this also covers all the other states, but Vote Voice is based in Michigan, and so we are just going to talk about this pertaining to Michigan, but this information is for everyone, no matter where you live. Now, you can find out how to register to vote. You just go to the Federal Voting Assistance Program, download and complete a Federal Postcard application, which is the FPCA. Now, the FPCA can also be used to obtain an absent voter ballot by email, fax, or regular mail. Now, you can obtain an absent voter ballot by email, fax, or regular mail each year. You just go to the Federal Voting Assistance Program. Download a Federal Postcard application, which is the FPCA. Complete and submit the postal mail, or fax it, or scan and email it to your local clerk based on your home residence. Check the appropriate box for the email, fax, or mail. The FPCA can also be used to register to vote. Okay? Now you can just go, if you're in Michigan, let me say if you're not in Michigan, just go to your Secretary of State's website, okay? And in Michigan, you can just go to michigan.gov/vote to locate your home resident city or township clerk. Remember, your Secretary of State can help you locate that information no matter what state you live in. You can check the status of a requested absent voter ballot. You can go to michigan.gov/vote and type in the requested information. Your absent voter ballot status will display along with other information. You can check your registration status in Michigan. Same place. Just go to michigan.gov/vote and follow the instructions. You can also learn more about candidates and proposals on the ballot. Once again, you go to michigan.gov/vote, type in the requested information, follow View My Sample Ballot. You can contact your city or township clerk in Michigan, going to michigan.gov/vote and follow Find Your Clerk. You can obtain assistance or ask a question. Once again, just go into michigan.gov/vote and follow Contact SOS. Now, no matter where you live, if you go to your Secretary of State, that website should give you the information you need. It's important to know that only those voters covered under the Uniformed and Overseas Citizen Absentee Voting Act, which is the UOCAVA, are eligible to use the Federal Postcard Application Form, that is the FPCA, and receive an absentee ballot by email or fax. Covered voters include a member of a uniformed service on active duty who is absent from his or her city or township of residence. Voter can be inside or outside the United States. A member of the Merchant Marine who, by reason of service in the Merchant Marine, is absent from his or her city or township of residence. Voters can be inside or outside the United States. A spouse or dependent of a number of uniformed service or a member of the Merchant Marine who, by reason of the active duty or service of the member, is absent from his or her city or township of residence. Voters can be inside or outside the United States. A citizen voter who is outside the United States and is eligible to vote in Michigan. A member of the National Guard activated on state orders. This is Donna Miller, and I just want to make sure before I go that I have covered everything. This is a short podcast today, but I just wanted to get that information out to you. There will be plenty of podcasts coming up, even though this is a quiet election year. Okay, it's important that we vote in our local elections. There are levies and taxes and things that we must cover for our school boards. Go and find out what's on your ballot. It might not be that much, but it's important. That's all for today's episode of the Vote Voice podcast. This is Donna Miller. Thanks for listening. And remember, your vote is your voice. Let's make sure it's heard loud and clear in our upcoming elections. Thank you, everyone, and have a wonderful day.